Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You can have your glassware.
Oh, thank you.
So Steve asked me to make grape nuts ice cream. So we'll give it a shot. I just checked the ingredients. Boy, this sure lends itself to a nice sweet creamy dessert. The ingredients are whole grain wheat, flour, malted barley flour, salt, and yeast.
You don't have to make it if you don't want.
Boy, that'll make some ice cream, won't it?
You don't have to make it if you don't
No,
want.
I'll make it.
Did you bring honey?
I brought accoutrements. Yes, dear. Knowing that grape nuts was on the menu today, I brought some honey and some raisins.
Do you want my recipe?
No.
Okay.
No, we're going to, you wanted to know how we come up with a recipe on the table so we don't have to experiment in our machines. If you have a 6-quart machine, sure, you can experiment, but why bother? Better to know before you create the ice cream, right? So we'll do that now. Now, I'm going to, these are little tiny orbs in here. And trust me, they smell awful. Does anybody eat grape nut cereal? You do? What do you do to make it good?
Sugar.
Sugar. Ah, okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to reduce the size of these a little more than what they already are to get more of the flavor.
But then it won't be grape nuts.
No, I have all those.
Okay.
Hey.
It's got to be crunchy. We used to give this to our friends after they had their wisdom teeth taken out. It was always worth a good laugh.
Okay. All right, we'll try it, but this isn't really going to work. But I'll show you how I do a formula on the bench so that we know what the proportions are in the machine. All right? I generally start with a 1-quart container. This one has springs in it, not conducive to the ice cream. Thanks. Who did?
I got it.
Okay, good.
At least someone did.
Let's see. We don't have any more quart containers. So we'll use, we had one. Oh, it's in the freezer. Okay. I'm going to put these springs. Okay, we'll rinse that out. I just wanted to get all this out because I'm not going to clean the machine between these two flavors. The way I figure it, any flavor we can add to that stuff is a bonus.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Well, maybe it'll be terrific.
Did you sell your Disney yet? It's down $4 this morning.
All right. Okay, so let's take this and dump it. All right, we need a secretary for this one, somebody who's going to do the note-taking. He volunteered you.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so what we're going to start with is 8 ounces of mix. I use a 1-quart container, and I put 8 ounces of mix in there. We've never done this before.
No. You want me to get you the formula?
No. No, I'm going to create the formula.
Okay, but I did it 15 years ago.
And who knows if it was right. 8 ounces. Well, this is just a learning experience. So we'll take 8 ounces of cream. You got that, Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, 8 ounces in a quart container. And everything will be based on this. You'll see the picture in a minute. Now we have to know how much of the primary flavor to add. I don't know if you'd call this the primary flavor or not. Sell.
I did that last night.
All right, so we'll add, we have to measure this as well. So I'll tell you what, well, we don't know about that. And I know this is liquid measure and we're measuring solids, but it's all going to be just proportions that we need. So let's add 1 cup. 1 cup of grain into here. And now we're going to mix it up. Does this stuff dissolve? It doesn't, does it?
No.
So what's the point of making this?
It's crunchy. Did you get the raisins?
Yeah, I have raisins.
Okay.
Raisins do make it taste better.
Well, of course. This is going to be awful.
No, it isn't. You're going to use more than that, aren't you?
More what?
More grape nuts.
Well, this is, all right, go back to your thing. So right now, what we're creating looks to me to be adobe. It's got to have some taste. But I suspect sugar is going to come into play here, right? Right? Steve, you have any brown sugar?
No. I don't.
Ooh, I'll tell you the conditions I got to work under, you know?
I thought you were giving me code. Adobe's down $15 this morning.
You don't have any brown sugar?
I don't.
How about by the Hershey syrup? Is that brown sugar in the bag up
No,
top?
that's Forbes
top.
cocoa. Hershey's cocoa, golden raisins,
Right in the bag behind that. What's
classic cinnamon powder.
Brown sugar's up top to the left.
that? Ah, there we go, in the box, Domino's.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
I would rather add brown sugar to this than white sugar. Just a hunch. See, now normally what you do is you would taste it and see if it's good. If it's good the way it is, you know what the proportions are to increase it before you add it to the machine.
Okay, now we know what you're doing. Those of us who didn't take your class don't know this. This is a good trick.
Well, it's common sense. So now we'll taste it. This is unbelievable. Who came up with this?
People in Boston.
I don't know. I have to ask this. But okay.
You want me to give you the recipe?
What?
You want me to give you the recipe?
Absolutely not. So let's presume that we're okay here, okay? So now what we have to do is figure out what we're going to put in here.
Again?
I have to take it.
Oh, it's you.
Anthony?
Hey, Jeffrey.
Yes.
Hey, this is Pete at Soundcrafters.
Okay, speak fast.
Pardon me?
Speak fast tomorrow at noon, right?
Correct.
That's what you called for?
I was just calling to confirm it.
Oh, okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. The guy called me, what, 2 hours ago and told me tomorrow at noon, right? We wrote it down?
No, sometimes it was
Okay, so to do
That's going
that,
great.
we're going to make it into 5 quarts, right? 5 quarts of mix in this machine. So 5 quarts, and we have 8 ounces. 8 ounces is 1/4 of a quart, correct? 8 ounces is a quarter, so to get 5 quarts, how many ounces do we need?
20.
20, correct. We need 20 ounces of this stuff. And this stuff we have, let's see, we have, this is 29 ounces in here, and this is another 20 ounces. Actually, this size box would do, right? If we're looking at 20 ounces. So, what?
Yeah, 1 to 1.
What?
You said 1 to 1, right? You did 8 ounces and 8 ounces?
Well, we have, how many ounces did we put in here? 8 ounces. And we need 4 times that. So that means we need 32 ounces, right? 8 times 4. Whew. And then we need that times 5. So we don't have that much, and I don't think you need that much. So this formula isn't going to work because this stuff doesn't dissolve. What you need to have is, do you get how we do this? You need to have something that dissolves. Let's say you're making, pick a flavor.
Strawberry.
Strawberry ice cream. So whatever your basis is for strawberry, whether it's strawberry syrup, whether it's frozen strawberries that you puree, whatever that is, you start with 8 ounces of mix. And then you add that strawberry, stirring, tasting until you're satisfied with the flavor. Once you're satisfied with the flavor, then it's a simple matter of multiplication. You multiply the liquid times 4 to give you 1 quart, and then I would do it times 10 to give me this machine. And then the same with the strawberries. If you used 2 ounces of strawberries that gave you the good flavor, then you would multiply 2 ounces of strawberries times 8 is 16 ounces, times 10 is 160 ounces. Knowing how many ounces there are in a gallon, how many ounces in a gallon? 128. So pretty much a gallon of strawberry, if that's the method that you're using. If you're using frozen strawberries and you puree them, then you would increase it that fold. Does this stuff ever dissolve when you eat the cereal too fast, right?
You'd have to let it sit a long
Overnight it will.
time.
Overnight? Nobody does that. Oh, I better prepare my breakfast and leave it outside here.
Overnight oats.
So this is, all right, I'm going to add some sugar to it and some raisins and some honey. In which case, we really don't need the grape nuts at all. We can just have sugar, honey, and raisin ice cream, which would be good. But since he's hell-bent on this stuff, we'll do it. So first let's add, could add some chips to it. All right, so first we'll add this, which is how many quarts?
5 quarts.
Thank you.
Need a bathroom?
Okay, 5 quarts of this stuff.
It's going to be great.
Oh, it'll be terrific.
How much grape nuts are you putting in?
I don't know. We'll have to play that by ear. How much do you think we ought to add?
A whole bag. It's a 12 quart, a whole bag.
Well, there are 2 bags. There's
Yeah,
a
you don't need
regular
2
size
bags.
and family size.
I think I'd put in the regular size.
Okay, that's what we'll do then. That's what it actually, right? Okay, let's start it up. You know, we did make ice cream out of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it was real good. And somebody suggested that we make ice cream out of honey grahams? Mm-hmm. Golden grahams, right, golden grahams. Was that you? Him. He suggested that we make it out of that, but I was too lazy to go to the supermarket last night. And when I spoke to Steve on the phone, he said, hey, we have grape nuts.
And Christy just brought them in because it's her daughter's favorite flavor.
Okay, well, there you go. Let's add some grape nuts.
You have to keep an open mind in ice cream.
Oh, I do. And now I want to add some sugar. Oh, hard as hell.
Yes,
Quick question about the 350.
of course.
So on the website it says, I think it says something about only a 20 amp breaker.
That's correct.
So you cannot plug it in if it's a double 40 amp?
No,
Okay.
it would have no protection whatsoever. We'll send you, if you order a machine, we're going to send you about 3 letters in increasing threat, saying that you must use a licensed electrician. And the final letter will say, if you don't use a licensed electrician and something goes wrong with the machine, we're going to ask for a copy of the receipt that you used a licensed electrician. It is just amazing, and it happens so many times that someone will buy a $13,000 machine, a $30,000 machine. That's a lot of money in my book. And then they hire their Uncle Louie, who once changed a light switch, or worse, the contractor. Someone mentioned the contractor before. They're very good people, but they're not a licensed electrician. And they come in with their own preconceived notions. Uncle Louie doesn't know what he's doing. He's just saying, oh, sure, the clothes dryer worked here, so we might as well use the clothes dryer plug. And if it isn't the proper size and the proper wire, the wires have to be thick enough to run this machine. And a clothes dryer doesn't run on a very thick wire. It's got to be done to code, because if your store burns down, the first thing you'll find out, as a big franchise that we work with found out, your insurance won't cover you. They come in and they look at everything, and they see that the Emery Thompson didn't cause it. It was the blender, the home blender that you bought, the wearing home blender that you bought for home use that burned down the store, even though it was turned off. And they'll go through everything not to make that claim. So it's for your own good. So it's got to be, and what I do with people, because I'm always trying to save you money, without getting all electrical, the thicker the wire, the thicker the power can go through, the lower the number. So a 14 wire is your normal extension cord. A 10 wire is about the strongest in your house. These bigger machines run on 8 wire. So right now my store is wide open. I'm getting ready to decorate. I'm running the line for the CB350. It takes a number 10 wire or whatever code says. And I tell you, for $70 more, have the electrician go out and buy the heavier number 8 wire. Not because it's safer now, but I know that in a few years, you're going to be doing so much business, you're going to need a 24. And so instead of ripping up the walls for $1,000 to run the wire, you'll already have it there. It'll already be a number 8, and all you do is just change the breaker, and there you go. So for $60, I'm saving you $1,000 by running the electric properly. But it's critical that it be done on anything in your store. You can't just say,
So you can run
hey,
it
it'll
on
go by.
number 8 wire, basically you're saying.
8 wire, yeah, because I could run it on 6 or 4, because all that's going to go through to it is at the breaker box, the 40 amp breaker, the 20 amp breaker. Yeah, it's extremely efficient. 20 amps is really low.
A dedicated plug for the machine?
Yes. Dedicated means that you're not plugging a toaster into it or a blender or anything else. Now the little CB200 over there, that runs on 115 volt, and that'll run in your kitchen, but maybe not in your bedroom. Your bedroom has a couple of lights and a TV, so the wire sizes, the breakers are very low grade. In your kitchen, we know you're going to run the toaster, the electric oven, and the blender at the same time, so they are still 110, but they have a heavier line to them. So the littlest machine can run pretty much anywhere in the house that's got a heavier line, like a kitchen. You really wouldn't want to make ice cream in your bedroom anyway. It's messy.
But the 350 needs a 220, right?
350 needs a 220. Yep, because the motors and compressors are bigger. The bigger the machine, the bigger the motors and compressors. Yes.
So you've got 2 breaker boxes back there. I've seen on all of your videos, and I'm assuming you've got the 4 machines going through those 2 boxes. Do we just need a regular 220 volt plug on the wall, or do we need a breaker box like that?
No, you don't need.
On the CB350, we give you the plug attached to the cord. All machines come with a cord. The plug's on it. It's a special, safe twist lock plug. And we give you what they call the female, or the receptacle, for your electrician to put into the wall. I do that because if you've noticed, your clothes dryer is 220 and it's 3-prong. You never unplug your clothes dryer. But if you do, it's kind of dangerous because you got those 3 plugs, Two of those wires will kill you, one's a ground. But in an ice cream parlor, if you put one of those plugs on, it's 11 o'clock at night, you finally trained someone else to make the ice cream. They've been working all day, they're tired, their hands are wet because they just finished rinsing the machine, and now you want them to play with 220 3-prong electricity? That's dangerous. We have a twist lock that goes in and locks like that. It's the safest plug on earth. So, I mean, you could wrap your hands around it and you're not going to risk anything. On the bigger machines, it doesn't come with a plug because they're too big. It's too much voltage for you to be playing with. So we wire it into an $80, between $60 and $80 box on the back.
Safety box.
How much?
A safety box, I said.
Okay, 60. And the beauty, safety box. I don't want to unplug it, but the nice thing is we're in Florida. We're the lightning capital of the world. I mean, we get unbelievable storms. Our phone system blew out over the weekend because lightning hit down the street. If I know that and I've got an expensive machine, what's better than to go over at night and just pull that red handle down? No power can get to the machine. Plus, if I train my employees that handle must be down when you're assembling the machine. I mean, there's no way this is coming on accidentally, but you can never be too safe. If that handle's down, there's no power. You put it in, you lock it up, everything's finished, now we apply the power. I got zapped when I was 16 working in the factory with 3-phase 220 volt, and it threw me across the room. And they said that's what made me what I am today, a little odd.
You have it direct wired into the panel?
Yes.
The bigger machine?
Direct wired into it's into that box and then to the breaker panel.
And that's called a safety box?
It's usually known as a safety or a kill or a disconnect. Jeff's saying switch.
It's called a knife switch.
Knife switch. And Mike is an electrician. So it's a big safety factor, and for what little it costs you, it's a great idea.
So do you recommend, like if we have a 350, do you recommend that it be unplugged every night?
Yes. But then again, I'm here in Tampa, Florida, lightning capital of the world. When Paul and I leave for work in the morning, we unplug the toaster. But I literally read about a business that I knew that the blender was plugged in and turned off and burned down the store. That's scary. It was made in China. And it didn't have Underwriter Laboratory or NSF the way we do. Those are very expensive certifications, and we have the very best.
So, Steve, for the 350, when we get it off the crate, it's already wired up in the back of the machine, and then it's got like a 5 or 6 foot width, I guess?
Yeah, 6 foot.
And then you said you provide the female. Is that for a wall mount, or is that to like this width that you have down here?
It's for going right into the wall. Just like an on-off switch. The electrician will come and run your wires in advance, and they'll be hanging out of somewhere out the back.
Yeah.
Preferably off the ground because you're splashing water around. And that will be there, and it's in the wall, and you just go in and twist lock like that.
Yeah.
It's real easy. It's got a pin on it, so you can't do it the wrong way. And that's my thing. It's electrical safety.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the lead time now on machines?
I'm sorry?
The lead time after an order?
Lead time is, we tell people right now 8 weeks on the CB350, but we're targeting 6. And we've been hitting 6.
Is that to my door or like
Ready to ship.
Ready to ship.
Yeah. And then shipping is not that far. Atlanta is 2 days. Chicago's 3 days. Wyoming might be 5 days. It depends on how far you get out. They don't really go beyond a week. Yes.
Is the CV350 a good machine to start off with, to start like producing? So you said I have to run that twice to get one of these tubs.
Yeah. I think it's the very best machine to get started with because of price and what it'll produce. It produces double what the 200 does, and then you go from half a tub to 1 tub to 2 tubs. These get pricey. This one is $29.5. Now, I'm dating these because 6 months from now they could be higher with the inflation we've got. And people are going to see it 10 years from now and say, but you offered it for $29,500, and now it's $97,000. This one is $2,000 more. So your choice should be the CB350 or the 24, based on labor. The bigger you go, the less labor, because they're all going to make ice cream in the same amount of time, and ices.
Eventually, you will have a 24. You can't be successful and survive with a smaller machine because you'll be working round the clock.
This is 24 right?
No, 24 on the end.
Again?
So eventually, now the good news is, if you do start with a 6 quart and you spend
13.5
if
today.
you spend 13 and you use it for 8 months, 9 months, until you are ready for the bigger one, out of 13, you'll sell it in 15 minutes for 11. I mean, it won't be on eBay for 15 minutes. So you won't lose any money. The 9 months is to save up the difference to the larger machine. Because once you get the larger machine, your whole world opens up. You won't be killing yourself working every day making ice cream. It'll be 3 times a week maybe, or twice a week if you want to put in 6 hours. So it'll change your life. But make no mistake, you will have the larger one if you're going to be a working, moving forward ice cream store.
They really don't last more than a couple hours on eBay. Someone compared it to a Rolex watch, which was a really good analogy. You'll notice there's no Rolex here. I can't afford it. But if I had a $20,000 Rolex that I bought today, in 3 years, I could probably sell it for $20,000 because it's now gone up to $27,000. And every year that goes by, our prices will go up. Nothing is going down. And so your machine for sale for $13,000 instead of my $14,500 in a few years is going to look like a good deal. But I'll warn you, this happens all the time. The day you sell your CB350 off, is the day your best friend walks through the door and says, hey, you know that second store that you've been talking about, a small one like 700, 900 square feet, 20 miles away? I just found one, and it's the rent is cheap. We could take the CB350, move it up there, teach the manager, and now we don't have to ship ice cream 20 miles. Well, it's too late. You just sold it on eBay.
What's the price difference between the 24 and the 12?
Today, April of
act right
2022, that's the 24 quart is $31,500, $29,500, and $13,500.
What's the Thompson?
It's only $2,000 to get double the production or cut your labor in half. Now, a lot of people, Jeff says, yeah, you're going to own a 24. Before you do, you're going to call up and you're going to say, oh my gosh, business is so huge, we need a 24 quart. I said, how many hours a day are you running? Well, we're running it 10 hours a day. I'm exhausted. Well, you don't need another 24. You go out and you hire police, fire, or military. The police and fire all have second jobs. We don't pay them enough. And they can come in at 11 o'clock at night, work the graveyard shift, take your 3x file card because you're confident enough in your business to hand it over to another professional, and let them work from 11 at night till 6 in the morning making your ice creams, and then they go home. You just doubled the output of that machine.
However, can I throw a however?
Sure.
However, when you have your ice cream store, you're going to be very reluctant to turn over production to somebody else. A fireman, a policeman, it sounds good in theory, but you're not going to sleep while they're making ice cream.
He's an ice cream maker. I'm a businessman. I made Christy she worked her way up, as I said this morning, from being in the parts department to a vice president. I did it because I realized how old I am, and I realized someday there's got to be continuity between my wife and I and this business, because this business is going to go on forever. And so she's being trained to do everything I do. I don't just teach her how to make ice cream. I don't teach her how to sell machines. I teach her how to pay payroll, how to look at a profit and loss statement. If you can't do that in your business, you're always going to be one store and you're always going to be limited. You've got to delegate authority, because I know some of the younger people in the audience, they're not going to be happy with one store. They're looking at 5 or 6 stores. and you can't do it all. You're spending 10 hours making ice cream. It's the hardest thing to learn in business. It's the hardest thing to let go is delegating authority, but you got to do it. How's it looking? It must look delicious.
Oh, it looks great.
So Steve, how long for the motor and the compressor, how long do you say they'll run on these machines?
It's impossible to say.
Your grandchildren will take over the machine.
The average Emery Thompson lasts, on average, 40 years. Some last 35, some last 60. We have way too many machines out there that are 60 years old. But compressors are a purchased item, and so are motors. And you get an electrical voltage shunt go through or a voltage drop. Voltage drops are interesting. As they reduce the amount of power into your store because it's so incredibly hot today, the heat of the motor goes up. Less voltage, more heat. That could burn them out. So I've seen something burn out after a year. I've seen something burn out after 40 years.
What's the warranty on the compressor?
1 year parts and labor.
Same as
on the whole
motor?
machine. Yeah, plus lifetime technical support. We don't do, you got to read the fine print of a contract if you buy someone else's machine and they say it has a 5-year warranty. Anybody ever buy a Sears battery? I know I have. And it has a 5-year warranty. And at 4 years and 11 months, when the battery goes back and you take it to them, and that's the key, you have to take it to them. They don't come to you. You take it to them and they give you $1.98 because it says prorated. Well, it was prorated going down over the 5 years. Or it says compressor must be returned FOB manufacturer, meaning the person who built it, and then it has to be inspected, and if they find that it was their fault, they will send you a new compressor. Meanwhile, what do you do for 3 months? While your machine is down waiting for that compressor under the warranty. So the warranty that we get from Copeland is 1 year. And so we give exactly the same warranty they do. A lot of people just filter in, they jack up the price. You'll notice that we're, on the bigger machines, we're anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000 less money. And one of the things they've built into it is a phony 5-year warranty.
If I do have something like that happen, who do I call to make a repair?
Hey Mike, who do they call if they have a repair? Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
McDonald.
but so I'm in Dallas, so how does Mike help me?
Because we're in 143 countries, over 36,800 machines, somewhere around there.
So you just have a local rep that Mike helps coordinate that comes out and looks at the machine?
First, we talked to you.
Yeah.
I talked to 3 people over the weekend. One of them was at 8:30 Sunday night, because we tell you we're here from 8 in the morning till 9 at night, 7 days a week. Nobody has service like us, because 99% of the time you made a mistake. I can't tell you is that Dasher around?
Go ahead. Oh, no.
Where?
No.
I don't see it.
It's over there. Put it back.
Oh, okay. This is real simple. This is 90% of the calls that Mike and I get. These blades have to go in. I mean, it's not very hard. It's 1 piece here and 2 blades. These are just holding it. We drilled a little dimple in the front of the blade. We tried to tell people that the front end is cut off like a hacksaw. The back end is curved. There's a curve there to match the curvature of the barrel. They couldn't see that after 10 years or any time. So we drilled a little dimple here and here. We tell them, the customer, it's in the book. It's when we talk to them. It's up on the videos like this. The 2 dimples have to be seen before you put the door on. Now the blades are in correctly. It's 3 pieces. It's not that hard. Just see the 2 dimples. I call people call me up. My machine froze up after 3 batches. I said, is the door really frosty? Yes, it is. I said, how's the product? It's soupy on the inside. Is there a buildup of ice on the walls of the machine? Oh yeah, it's loaded with ice. I guess it's working great. No, you flipped one of these blades around and now it's backwards. And then I hear, I couldn't do that. I've been making ice cream for 347 years. I could never make such a stupid mistake. And I tell people, I did it on live TV. I did it in one of these performance or demonstrations. And so if I can do it, the owner of the company, and I've been here since I was 16 years old, anybody can do it. So I tell them that, and I said, humor me. Just go back and check. And they say, okay. I said, call me back. Let me know I was right. I never hear from them. because they found out that one of these blades was facing the wrong way. Now it's not even scraping the walls.
Never. I never made
That's
nuts.
the kind of calls
I
we
never
get.
made it.
Or another guy calls
Steve.
up, he's got a water-cooled machine, and it was actually Malik Rose. If anybody knows Malik Rose, San Antonio Spurs, he's now with ESPN. He has a number of Italian ice businesses, or had. I don't know his status right now. He called up Saturday night at 8:30, and I always ask the question, I've trained my staff to ask the question, when did it last run right? Well, Malik said, and what are you making? Oh, I'm making cherry ice. When did it last run right? He said, well, 20 minutes ago when I made lemon ice. Okay, if it made lemon ice and it's a 5-year-old machine, the blades are in correctly, they're in properly, the refrigeration's working, the thing is turning, that's working. Hey Malik, taste the product, what's it taste like? He goes, oh God, Steve, it's awful. It tastes like cherry juice and water. I said, yeah, I know. You left the 7 pounds of sugar out. Put the 7 pounds in and now your machine runs fine. If that had been Taylor, Taylor has a great service network, but they don't sell batch freezers anymore. We ran them out of it. Taylor would have said, oh, we'll be there Monday. So the guy's down for 2 days. We'll be there Monday. The Taylor guy comes in, changes the expansion valve for $500, runs a batch of ice with you. You have a $1,000 bill, and the machine works. And the owner is going, isn't that wonderful? They came, I only lost 2 days of business, and the machine's working great now. Well, he paid $1,000 because he left the sugar out, and we had diagnosed it in less than a minute on the phone, because all we do is build batch freezers. You can't buy a DeLorean car from me. You can't buy a deep fat fryer. I don't do Taipan ice cream. I don't do nitrogen. We do batch freezers, and we are the gold standard in the industry. So that's our service, and that's our story. Nobody does it better. Yeah.
But back to his question, he's in Dallas.
Okay.
And let's say something did go wrong with the compressor.
Let's say the compressor blew.
What's the answer to that?
We have, Mike has a list of people that we use that we will call one of them to make the change, and if it's out of warranty, you're going to pay to have it shipped to there and put in. But Jeff will verify this one. If you own your own home, I'm sure you don't think about this, but I'll bet you know the name of an electrician, and I'll bet you know the name of a plumber, because toilets back up and overflow on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, and who are you going to call? You know, not Ghostbusters. You better have a name of a plumber. And I think every one of us who owns a home has the name of a plumber and an electrician. If you're going to be in this business and you've got freezers and you've got dipping cabinets, you've got batch freezers and you've got refrigerators, what do you need in that business, Jeff? You need a refrigeration man. So when you go into business, go around to different restaurants and say, hey, I'm opening an ice cream parlor. Who do you use for refrigeration service? Because Taylor isn't coming out Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock to fix your machine. But if you know Louis from Louis' Refrigeration, you can probably get him in. This is a normal thing that you need to have in business. You've got a banker, you've got an electrician, you've got a plumber, you need a refrigeration person. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for a big fall when that $15,000 walk-in box stops working and you don't know that it's nothing more than pushing a reset button.